And welcome back to Wake Up and Live with the Arts. I'm Gary Webster, and before we start the next segment of our program, just want to let you know that we ran a little short of time on the first segment, and if you have any questions about the Baha'i faith, you can use the email address that Kathleen gave you, and she will fill you in, or Patty for that matter. Contact Kathleen or Patty, and they'd be happy to fill you in on that. And now, happy to fill us in on something called Trouble in Mind would be the author of the play, Michael Oatman. Michael, welcome to the camera.
What's up, Gary?
I was just asked that question a moment ago, and nothing has changed in the last 60 seconds or so. And we have Dr. Fred Perry with us from Tri-C Metro Campus, which is one of my alma maters. I was a freshman and a sophomore at Tri-C many years ago.
Very nice to be here.
So, Michael, first of all, who is the playwright of Trouble in Mind?
The playwright of Trouble in Mind is a very famous and well-respected playwright named Alice Childress. She was actually going to probably be the first black woman on Broadway, but when her play went there sometime in the, I think, early to mid-50s, she had some issues in terms of the producers wanting to change the play in ways that she didn't feel was respectful to the play, which is ironic because the play is about African Americans and some of the hurdles they had to jump through in order to be performers, and sort of the betrayals that they felt were not respectful of them. And she actually mirrored this when she tried to actually produce the play. So it's a very well respected play and well taught and not produced enough, sadly.
And how did you happen to become involved in this?
This gentleman right here called me in from the wilderness.
I wouldn't say the wilderness. I think it was like Euclid Heights.
Well, yeah, same difference.
Well, that's close enough.
Close enough.
Out there in the boonies, that's close enough.
Yeah, Fred called me up and said, "Hey, Mike, would you be interested in coming out and doing some stuff?" And I said, "Of course, for a piece like this." So.
And Fred, how did you happen to become involved in this piece?
Well, I had read the play a couple of years ago, and I was enamored by the portrayal of racial issues that were presented in the play. And the play it's a remarkable play. It's a little piece of meta-drama where you have a group of racially diverse actors showing up in a barren stage to rehearse a play that deals with a racially diverse cast. And each of these groups of actors or characters have issues. And because we're outside watching these characters deal with the issues, it just kind of brought me in. It made me more aware of it. I kind of hoping, I selected the play to do in the fall because I was hoping that it would have the same effect on the audience and draw them in and provide a mirror to their own life.
And let's get to the most important thing, which is, what are the dates that this play is going to be performed?
Ooh, we open on November 2nd, 7:30. Actually, November 2nd is a very special day because Terrence Spivey, who's the artistic director at Caramoo House, will be doing a talkback at 7 p.m. So it's going to be pre-show, 7 to 7:30 talkback. And then our showtime is set 7:30. Showtime's going to run about, the play's going to run about 2 hours?
Yeah, somewhere in there, or maybe even a little under.
Oh, okay. And so around 9:30 at Curtin, we'll have a reception up in the main stage lobby. Then we play November 3rd, November 4th at 1:30, which is a Sunday. And then the following week, we reopen on November 8th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all 3 days at 7:30. Saturday, we have 2 shows, one at 1:30.
So we are talking some real heavy hitters here as far as the production is concerned, with yourself and also with the Terrence Spivey, who is one of the best known and most respected names in the Cleveland theatrical community.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
We're very excited about this.
And I know from experience the Cleveland Playhouse often has these pre-show discussions, and I have found them to be valuable and interesting. So I think you would suggest that highly for those who are coming on that evening.
Oh, we definitely have been.
Now, Michael, you are the playwright in residence at Caramoo.
I am indeed.
How long have you had that position?
God, I don't know. Maybe 6, 7 years. I don't know.
And Fred, your affiliation with Tri-C, how far back does that go?
Well, I came to Cleveland in 1994. I was an independent television producer in Phoenix. I produced a television show called Arizona Playwrights, and I had a PhD. Actually, really what I wanted to do is I wanted to teach, and Tri-C offered me a position, a tenure-track position, so I came out here.
And both of you, you work together then in the educational department
Indeed.
and the theater department
Indeed.
at Tri-C.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the kind of theater department that my first alma mater has these days.
Oh, that's an interesting question and very loaded. It's a department that services not only our students but the community at large. Our shows are to provide an aesthetic value to our students, a co-curricular activity for our students, and an aesthetic value for the surrounding neighborhood. And primarily, we are in the business of teaching students how to appreciate theater and to get involved.
Have you had a good turnout for the classes that have been offered?
Yes,
They're
yes,
well attended.
indeed. Yes.
Now, tell us a bit about Trouble in Mind. We are going to see a brief scene from the play in just a moment. So tell us a bit about the scene and also the actors who are with us this evening.
Michael.
Yes, we have Ashley Aquila and Mr. John Lynch, who are just knocked down great in the play. And it's such a wonderful play because it's such an interesting structure. It draws you into these characters. There's a lot of like comedy. You know, when you first hear about the play, it sounds like it's going to be sort of a really heavy play, but really there's such light comedy, and there are little seeds that are planted in the first act, and then come the second act, you see these seeds that have been planted kind of bloom, and we get some of these issues that kind of force their way to the surface. And this scene that we're going to see is when some of those seeds have begun to bloom between these two people. There's a sort of a well-respected producer who's fought his way up through the business, and he has an actress he's worked with before. He's white, she's black, and some of their history sort of erupts into this really fabulous monologue that we're going to see by Mr. John Lynch. Very, very respected actor in the community here. So.
And so to use a term that us in the media love to use, without any further ado, let us present this scene from Trouble in Mind with John and Ashley.
I've listened, I've heard you out. And even though you think you know more than the director,
You don't want to hear me. 'Cause you a prejudiced man.
I will not accept that from you or anyone else.
I told that boy to laugh and grin at everything you said. Yeah, well, I ain't laughing.
While you give me hell up the river, I'm supposed to stand here and take it with a tolerance beyond human endurance. I'm white. You think it's so wonderful to be white? I've got troubles up to here. But I don't expect anyone to hand me anything. And it's high time you got rid of that notion. No, I never worked in a cotton field. I didn't. I was raised in a nice, comfortable 9-room house in the Midwest. And I learned to say nigger, kite, spit, sheeny, dago, and wop. I heard them plenty. I was raised by a sweet, dear, kind old aunt who spent her time raising funds for the missionaries. But she almost turned our town upside down when Mexicans moved in on our block. I know about troubles, my own. I've never been handed any gifts. Oh, it's so grand to be white. I had to crawl and knuckle under step by step what I want, what I believe. Indeed, I directed blood, guts, fist fights, bedroom farces, and the lowest kind of dirtied up sex until I earned the respect of this business.
But would you send your son out to be murdered?
I proclaim this National Truth Week. Whites. You think we belong to some great, grand fraternity. They stole and snatched from me for years, and I'm a club member. You ever hear of an idea man? They picked my brains. They stripped me. They threw me cash, and I let the credit go. My brains milked while somebody else crawled up on my back to take the bows. But I didn't beg for mercy. Why waste your breath? But I learned one thing that's the only damn truth worth knowing. You get nothing for nothing but nothing. No favors, no dreams served up on a silver platter. Finally, I get something for all of us, and it's not good enough for you. I'm prejudiced. Get wise. There are damn few of us interested in putting on a colored show at all, much less one that's going to say anything. It's tough out here. It's a hard world. Do you think I can stick my neck out by telling the truth about you? There are billions of things that can't be said. You follow me? Billions. Where in the hell am I going to come up with $100,000 to tell the unvarnished truth? So maybe it's a lie, but it's one of the finest lies you'll come across in a damned long time. Here's bitter news since you're living off the truth. The American public is not ready to see you the way you want to be seen because, one, they don't believe it. Two, they don't want to believe it. And three, they're convinced they're superior. And that, my friend, is why Carrie and Renard have to carry the ball. Get it? Now you wise up. Aim for the soft spot in that American heart. Let them pity you. Be helpless. Make them weep buckets. Make them feel so damn sorry for you that they'll lend a hand in easing up the pressure. You've got a free ride. Coast, baby, coast.
But would you send your son out to be murdered?
Don't compare yourself to me. What goes for my son doesn't necessarily go for yours. Don't compare him with 3 strikes against him. Don't compare him to my son. They've got nothing in common. Not a goddamn thing. I tried to make it clear.
A scene from Trouble in Mind, which is going to be produced, or has been produced, at Tri-C Metro, downtown, 30th and Community College Avenue, for those who may not know, remember it well. Tell us now about the process of putting together what we have just seen and the rest of the play. How about the cast? What is the casting process like?
Michael?
Well, we put out a notice and then we call in as many individuals as we can from the community, but we really have a focus on our students. So we're real proud that this production not only has, sort of stalwart veterans like John Lynch and Ashley Kill has done main stage at Caribou, but we have some of our students, and I mean when I say fresh, I'm talking about fresh. We have some people that we are introducing to the world of theater who will be on that main stage and doing a killer job. So we're real proud of the fact that we have such a good mix of, actors from the community, but a huge contingent of students who just walk through the door.
Now, as a playwright myself and a performer and a director, I understand how important it is to get the right cast together. And when you're doing collegiate theater, tell us what the process was like. Was it open, and are all Tri-C Metro productions open to the general public, or how is the casting handled?
Certainly, we put out our casting call and we invite in the community. We are very much student-centered, though. And so we allow in anybody, but we want to make sure that it's an educational experience for a lot of our students. So although we had some of our finest actors in Cleveland, we had Ashley Akil, who's done main stage at Caribou. We have Mr. John Lynch, who's a consummate professional, but we mixed them in with some students who are as green can get. So we just took a few students who literally just walked in and never done anything, and we handed to them probably one of the most delicately written and intricate plays that you could hand the students, and we have been just knocked on our tail feathers at how they've tackled this material and how they've just attacked it and mixed in with professional actors. And the reason why that's so important is because you can have students who get to sit along with community veterans and not only learn the business, but also learn studying techniques and things of that nature.
Now, of what kind of benefit is this to both rookies and veterans, especially the rookies who get to work with the veterans, like John and Ashley? That's an important part of the process.
I think the benefit for the rookies is obvious. You get to sit next to a professional actor, learn about study habits, how you learn lines, learn sort of practical aspects of acting. And I think the benefit for the veteran actors is you get to sit next to a live wire. You get to have somebody come at you in a way that maybe you haven't had in shows where it's all professional. Sometimes these young kids come in with an energy and a vitality which is sort of inspiring. And I know I've been inspired just working with people who've never even understood what blocking or technical terms of theater, but they come in with such a passion, and then they mix in with these older actors. It's a really interesting mix.
And Fred is a veteran of so many productions as a director. What has this process been like for you for this particular performance?
That's a very good question, because I'm still defining who I am in the show. I selected the play, and I selected Michael, and I work with Jeff Donnelly, who is our technical director, in coordinating all the scenic and the other design elements. But primarily, I am here to make sure that Michael can do his job. So if he has any kind of speed bump in front of him, I'm the snowplow that gets rid of the speed bump.
And what you're saying is really should be of interest to the audience, because it shows chain of command is not really the term that I'm looking for, but how many people are necessary to put together a performance?
A freaking army.
And Michael, let me get some contact information for those who would like to get in touch with you, particularly in your capacity as the playwright in residence at Karamu. How can folks reach you?
If they want to reach me, they can reach me at mail.com.
And for those who would like to get in contact with Dr. Fred Perry, how can you be reached?
Through my email, Fred, actually it's Frederick, FREDERICK .PERRY @tri-c.edu.
And again, the play is Trouble in Mind, and it will open November 2nd, was it? Opening at November 2nd and running through how long?
November 10th.
November 10th at Tri-C at the Studio Theater. Tri-C Metro. I need to point that out.
Please.
And I want to thank Fred and Michael for joining us on today's edition of Wake Up and Live with the Arts, but we're not finished yet, so stay with us for more.